Welcome to a journey into the quietest yet most profound corners of the human mind. In our modern society, whether you are navigating the bustling, ambitious streets of New York or the polite, structured social circles of London, there is a prevailing belief that the loudest voice in the room is the most powerful. We are taught from a young age that to be seen, we must shine brightly, speak loudly, and claim our space with unwavering extroversion. But there is a specific type of person who completely subverts this expectation. They are the quiet observers, the gentle listeners, the ones who sit at the edge of the crowd with a warm but unreadable expression. They are known in psychological terms as the introverted, intuitive, feeling, and judging personality, often referred to simply as the rare visionary. At first glance, they appear entirely harmless. They are deeply kind, intensely empathetic, and remarkably patient. Yet, beneath that calm and composed surface lies a well of quiet power that often leaves others feeling strangely unsettled. Today, we are going to explore the hidden dynamics of this unique personality. We will uncover why, in a world that worships noise, the quiet presence of this intuitive soul is secretly feared by so many. To understand this fear, we must first realize that it has absolutely nothing to do with aggression, malice, or dominance. The fear that people feel around these quiet individuals is not the fear of being attacked. It is the fear of being truly, nakedly seen. Human beings naturally construct social masks. It is a survival mechanism in a highly competitive culture. We smile when we are annoyed. We nod when we disagree. We project confidence when we are secretly terrified. We build an entire architecture of social pretending just to get through the day, to secure a job, or to be accepted by a peer group. Most people accept this grand masquerade. They play the game and they expect you to play it too. But the intuitive observer does not play the game. They do not just listen to the words tumbling out of your mouth. They feel the heavy, unspoken weight of your true intentions. When you stand before them, projecting your carefully crafted image, they do not look at your mask. They look gently but directly at the real you hiding behind it. And for a society completely addicted to performance, that level of penetrating clarity is terrifying. This brings us to the first distinct reason why this personality type shifts the energy in any room. They effortlessly see through people, us motivations. This is not some mystical superpower. It is the result of a highly refined, almost exhausting level of emotional intelligence mixed with hyper-vigilant observation. While the average person is busy thinking about what they are going to say next, the intuitive observer is absorbing a massive amount of invisible data. They notice the slight tremor in a colleague's voice when they lie about their success. They catch the fleeting micro-expression of jealousy in a friend's eye. They observe the rigid posture, the forced laughter, and the subtle shifts in the emotional temperature of the room. Their brain connects these tiny, seemingly insignificant dots at lightning speed, forming a startlingly accurate picture of a person's true character. They know when someone is faking their kindness. They know when someone is manipulating the group. And the most intimidating part is that they process all of this without saying a single word. The second reason they command such a quiet, fearful respect is how they speak their truth. In Western culture, we have been conditioned to associate authority with volume. The angry boss pounding the desk, the loud politician commanding the stage, the aggressive debater who talks over their opponent. We expect strength to be deafening. But the intuitive observer operates on a completely different frequency. They speak very rarely in large group settings. They prefer to listen, to digest, and to formulate their thoughts with precision. But when a line is crossed, or when a truth desperately needs to be spoken, they will finally open their mouth. And when they do, the entire atmosphere of the room changes. They do not yell. They do not flail their arms. They speak with a calm, grounded, and almost chilling authority. They deliver a truth so heavy, so undeniable, and so beautifully articulated that it instantly cuts through the noise. It is the kind of quiet authority that leaves loud people completely speechless, because you cannot outshout the truth when it is delivered with absolute inner peace. This calm delivery is deeply unsettling for those who thrive on drama. When people engage in conflict, they expect you to match their chaotic energy. They want you to get angry so they can point the finger at you. But the intuitive person refuses to give them that satisfaction. They look at the chaotic person with deep, sorrowful eyes, and they calmly state the exact reality of the situation. They point out the toxic behavior without a single trace of venom, and that truth lingers. It echoes in the minds of the listeners long after the conversation has ended. People go home, they lay in bed, and they cannot stop thinking about that one quietly powerful sentence the observer said. It pierces through their defenses. For someone who is used to getting away with bad behavior by creating noise and confusion, this type of calm, surgical truth-telling is their worst nightmare. They realize they are dealing with someone whose mind is completely immune to their emotional manipulation. Moving deeper into their psychology, the third reason society fears this rare personality is their absolute, unwavering refusal to tolerate nonsense. Every social ecosystem has its unwritten rules of compliance. We are expected to laugh at the tasteless jokes of our superiors. We are expected to stay in our seats and nod along during endless, pointless gossip sessions just to keep the peace. At first, the highly empathetic observer might try to blend in. They love harmony, and they hate making others uncomfortable. They might tolerate the superficial chatter for a while, but their patience is not infinite. Once they detect a consistent pattern of disrespect, fakeness, or emotional vampirism, an invisible switch flips inside them. They establish a boundary of steel. But true to their nature, they do not announce this boundary with a dramatic speech. They simply execute the quietest, most graceful exit imaginable. They stop laughing at the bad jokes. They stop answering the late-night drama-filled texts. They slowly, systematically remove their energy from the toxic environment. And this sudden withdrawal of warmth is devastating to people who are used to using others for emotional supply. The toxic individual suddenly feels the cold draft of absence, realizing that they have been evaluated, weighed, and quietly dismissed without a single chance to argue their case. As we examine the fifth reason, we touch upon something truly beautiful, yet intimidating to outsiders. It is the way they build unbreakable, quiet loyalty. In our modern age, we often measure social value by metrics. How many followers do you have? How many contacts are in your professional network? People hustle to build massive, shallow networks, collecting acquaintances like currency. But the rare intuitive soul does not care for this superficial popularity contest. They have no desire to be liked by everyone. Instead, they invest their profound emotional energy into a very small, carefully selected inner circle. They build loyalty not through flashy gestures or expensive gifts, but through sheer, unwavering consistency. When their friend is experiencing a dark night of the soul, they are the ones who show up at 2 a.m. with a cup of tea and a listening ear. They remember the names of your childhood pets. They remember the exact fear you confessed to them years ago, and they protect that vulnerability with their life, because they offer this incredibly rare, trench warfare level of trust. The people who love them will do absolutely anything for them. This level of deep, cult-like devotion from their inner circle is terrifying to outsiders. Superficial networkers look at this bond and realize they can never compete with it. They see a quiet person who, without ever asking for it, commands the fierce, protective loyalty of others. Finally, the sixth reason this personality is feared is their ultimate, unshakable independence. In a world that is obsessed with conformity, true independence is the most dangerous trait a person can possess. Most people source their identity from the crowd. They dress according to the latest trends, they adopt the political opinions of their peers, and they rely on the constant validation of their social circle to feel that they exist. If the crowd turns against them, they shatter. But the intuitive observer is a completely self-contained universe. Because they spend so much time in quiet reflection, they have already fought their internal battles. They have mapped out their own moral compass, independent of what society dictates. They do not need your applause to feel worthy, and they do not fear your criticism, because they have already critiqued themselves far more harshly than you ever could. When they step into a room, they bring this heavy, grounded self-assurance with them. They can stand completely alone in a disagreement and feel absolutely fine. They do not flatter the powerful, and they do not step on the weak. They simply exist, utterly anchored in their own truth. This kind of independence completely breaks the social matrix. People who derive all their power from groupthink or social hierarchy simply do not know what to do with a person who refuses to play the status game. You cannot buy them, because they do not care about superficial status. You cannot intimidate them with isolation, because they genuinely love their own company. When a person needs absolutely nothing from you, you have zero power over them. And to a society built on mutual dependency and fragile egos, a person who cannot be controlled is a person to be feared. This is why the quiet observer is often called mysterious, aloof, or even intimidating. It is not because they are cold. In fact, they are some of the warmest, most fiercely loving people on the planet. But they love from a place of freedom, not from a place of desperate need. They choose to be with you, but they do not need you to survive. That brilliant. Quiet autonomy shines a harsh spotlight on the insecurities of everyone around them. It forces people to ask themselves, who would I be if I stopped caring about what everyone else thinks? So, if you ever find yourself in the presence of one of these rare, quiet souls, do not let their silence fool you. Do not mistake their gentle demeanor for weakness, and do not mistake their reserved nature for ignorance. They are not hiding from the world. They are carefully observing it, understanding it, and loving it from a safe distance. Their quiet power is a beautiful reminder that we do not need to shout to be heard, and we do not need to perform to be worthy. In a room full of noise, they are the anchor of truth. If you are one of these intuitive souls, protect your energy, honor your deep boundaries, and never apologize for the profound way you see the world. Your quiet strength is the healing force this chaotic society desperately needs. Thank you for joining us on this exploration of the human heart and mind. May you walk your path with quiet confidence, surrounded by truth and deep peace. Until we meet again, stay grounded and keep observing the beauty of the unspoken world.